fight tonight.
What's going on, everybody? J-Dub here. Today's video is going to be over Navi, which is the last boss of Veteran Sunspire. What I'll be doing is slowing down the mechanics and kind of explaining them for you, and kind of showing you what I like to do and how to avoid some of these things. And this will be the main tank perspective. So the first set of ads we're going to deal with is the 4 sets here, and you have to kill these ads in order to start attacking Navi. And some of the ads that are going to be here, which is going to be the Fury, which has no weapons. They do a cone sweeping attack, like he's mad at you, or you owe money or something like that. Charges up an AOE that grows to about 8 or 10 meters and explodes, dealing quite a bit of damage, and then shooting some ground AOEs towards the group. So it kind of just expands out, and a bunch of AOEs go all over the place. And also that slows you down quite a bit, and it's just a stupid AoE. If you get to this point, you have dealt with this mechanic before. The other ad is Runes of Alkosh, which is a sword and board. They do a charged up heavy attack. If you're not blocking, you'll get knocked back quite a bit up into the air and just all over the place. He also does a charge attack, which he charges towards a random player, CCing them and kind of knocking them down, just kind of like immobilizing them a little bit. Well, basically CCing them. The other one is the Fate, which is a mage. Spawns an AoE around about 2 players, and you'll have that growing AoE on you for about 5 seconds. And all you got to do is just get it out of the group, or just tell your group to hold block since you're just worried about your parse anyways. Alkosh's Will is the other one, which is the two-hander right here that started to do his attack. He'll do a series of swipes like the Fury on the last boss of Veteran Hellraw Citadel. The Warrior, which is the last boss, lasts about 5 seconds or so, and he'll also jump up in the air and teleport to one random player, and then he'll land on them, um, like some of the ads from the Morrowind DLC. Now this part right here, they're going to be doing a few fire AoE mechanics. What's going to happen is these AoEs are going to hit. So there's going to be one in the center every time, and it hits 3 times. So all you got to do is just stay away from the statue when that happens, and when the third one hits, just get behind the statue and then hide. That's basically it. Stay out of the stupid AoEs. That's literally it. Also during this part, after the third one, you hide behind the AoEs. 30 fire actuals will spawn, off tank just grab them, or you guys can just DPS them down. It's totally up to you guys. Or save one and let the off tank use them as spiders. So after you DPS the ads down, Navi, he'll be up on the top of the ledge, and then all this will happen. And then after that, shortly after this mechanic, Navi, he'll spawn a statue, which will disappear as you can see on the left-hand side. So just keep an eye out for that. On hard mode, it actually spawns up, and you can either DPS it down or leave it up. So after Navi comes down, he will land on the platform that your group is on, and he'll do a series of attacks. The first attack that he's going to do is usually going to be like a basic attack. It deals some physical damage, and if you get too close to him, he'll knock you back like the other dragons will, and he'll also do a bite attack, and it does quite a bit of damage because it breaks your block. The other thing that he does is a thrash attack, which he, basically, as you just seen, he moves his head from the left side of the room and then moves it quickly to the right side, and it breaks your block. So just call a dodge roll for that when you see that. It'll be hit on his right side. That wing will lift up, and then he'll do that attack. Another set of attacks that will happen will be Mark of Death. And what that does, it applies a few debuffs to you. What it is it's a defile and a fracture, and it lasts about 15 seconds. Shortly after, before that attack, Navi will do a cone attack called Searing Breath, which is like a cone attack as the previous bosses, such as Loki and Yolo. And what it does is it's just a bunch of like fire damage that you'll take. And what I like to do is roughly about 3 seconds into it, so I'll count in my head like 1001, 1002, 1003, and then dodge roll backwards. And what that does is it kind of negates a lot of that damage that you will take, that you'll be taking. So it just kind of helps out a little bit. So after you dodge roll that, another mechanic that might happen is called a sweeping breath. It's just another attack that Navi likes to do. He'll start on either the left side or the right side and do a cone-like attack, and then go from either left side to right side. And what he'll also like to do is a heavy attack like he did here. It's just a charged up heavy attack. Here's the searing breath here that I was talking about. You can also dodge roll this, so just just dodge roll it in about 3 seconds or so, and you'll be immune to that. So that charged up heavy attack that he does, you just want to dodge roll that. If you have that mark on you, you definitely want to try and dodge roll it because it does do quite a bit of damage. So just keep an eye out for that. So roughly fire actuals respond too. I totally forgot to say that. Fire actuals will spawn as well during this fight, and they'll spawn throughout the fight all the time. So the off tank will usually tank those, usually chain them into where he's at, and then he'll just throw spiders on the atros, which the DPS can then synergize, and they'll start attacking. Those spiders will start attacking the boss. Around 85%, the boss will spawn 3 time breaches, and that's when the 3 DPS will go down separately. One per breach. They'll go downstairs, DPS and add, and then come back up. Around 80% is when the boss will fly up in the air and run away like a little punk. And then he'll spawn those ads again. Then you just kill those. And then you start the fight all over again. The first set are going to be the 4 ads that you first fought when you started the fight. And the next set of ads will spawn at 60% and then 40%, and then you'll go into execute after that. And so then it'll be 6 ads, and the only difference between 60 and 40% is you'll have 2 Furies, 2 Fates, and you'll just have like a bunch of AoEs going down. So definitely want to try and save ultis for those phases. If you don't kill those ads pretty quick, what's going to happen is there's going to be like a crap ton of AoEs coming, and there's just going to be a lot of AoEs as well. So you just kind of want to look out for that. So as you can see, I slowed down this part here because I didn't want to stand in that AoE, and I just want to kind of emphasize that if there's any kind of an AoE around you, just try to avoid it. Don't take any more damage that you need to, especially with the mark on you. So, if you happen to get the mark from Navi, which we're going about to get into here pretty soon, but I kind of want to talk about it first. So, say you get the mark of death like you got here, and then all of a sudden he just flies up in the air, spawns the ad and stuff like that. What you want to do is you want to call that out for your healers. Because everyone knows that the healers don't do anything in trials. They're usually just sitting back, just eating a entire wheel of cheese, or eating pizza with grapes on it or raisins or something. So they're never really paying attention to anything. As you can see, my healer, he's not even doing anything. But yeah, so you just call that out like I did here. I called it out, and the healer said, "Okay, let me put on my pizza," and then they started to heal me. So that's what you want to do, especially when you have the mark, because you're going to be taking increased damage. It's going to be a little bit harder to heal you. You can also, when the ads come in and do a cone attack, you can more than likely just dodge roll some of that stuff to kind of negate it. They'll be throwing down a bunch of healing springs on you this patch, because next patch healing springs is going to change to where it's only going to be up for 9 seconds. So they won't be able to sit there and spam healing springs on you next patch. But anyways, they'll be spamming healing springs on you to try and keep you alive. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So when Navi lands back down during the third or second phase of him flying away because he's too scared to take a hit, what he'll do is he'll do an attack called Soul Tear, and excuse me, Soul Tear, as you guys can hear now. Which basically means it's kind of like that last boss in Veteran Cloud Rest, if you've ever done it or done it on normal or anything like that, where it does like a baneful mark to 6 people. Well, this attack right here does this to everyone. And what it does is it's a healing mechanic. All you got to do is just get healed by your healers. If you can get them to stop eating or whatever they're doing back there, like knitting or whatever, just they'll call it out and they'll just start trying to heal everybody. During hard mode, we like to try and stack a little bit closer, during that phase, so everyone can just continuously get healed. During this phase here, it's a little bit easier for one healer to just have the group and the other healer to get the tank. So, yeah, and if your healers don't want to heal you, just kick them and just pick up a random from Craglorn. Uh, Once you're healed during this phase, you won't have to worry about dying too much, at least for a second. And I'll be slowing down this Soul Tear attack here in a second. Right now, we're getting the Cone attack, and shortly after that, this is when we're going to get that Soul Tear, which is going to come up. And you'll see the way he does his mechanic. He just reaches his head back in the air and he lights out like a little beam that hits everyone. If and as you can see, everybody has like purple aura around them. That's just kind of what happens around that time. So as you can see too, the time stop mechanic, that little AOE that I was just in, is that's gonna spawn all over the place, and I think I'll slow that down again coming up, but I can't remember if I do or not. But you want to stay away from that mechanic. There's also ways that you can avoid that, and also the knockback from the Fury. The Fury does that AOE attack, and then when you get hit, when you get hit by one of those ground AOEs, what's going to happen is it'll knock you back. And there's two different ways to avoid that, and one of them is taking an immovable pot, and the other one is using the skill line from the heavy armor called Unstoppable. You can put that on your bar, or you can just use immovable pots. I ended up having both, depending on what's happening. Sometimes if you're a main tank and you're on Nightblade, you might be low on stam. So taking that immovable pot will kind of help out that in that situation. So if anybody dies during this phase, don't freak out. That's the biggest thing that you guys need to worry about is don't freak out during most of these attacks. Um, yeah, just don't freak out. Just let it happen. So as you can see, the fire attack going, that little line attack. There's a few mechanics that happen during that phase, and I'm going to talk about those right now. Basically, what happens is Navi will, kind of like strafe by and make a little telegraph like he did on the other boss, Loki, and it just does a fire line across the map. And what that does, if any ads are inside of it, it'll enrage. And also, the time breaches, the bigger one that lands on the ads, that's like 20 meters long or 20 meters wide. That one will also enrage the ads. So just keep an eye on that. If you got enough time to move out, or grab the ads and move them out, definitely do that. If not, then I mean, there's nothing you could do about it. If they get enraged, they get enraged. But try not to get them enraged. So we're on the last set. He's about 38% or so right now, or 35%, excuse me. This is getting into execute. So during this time, what's going to happen is this is basically where you shine as a tank. All right. This is where people start appreciating you for being you. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing really crazy happens here in non-hard mode. Well, basically, what happens is there's some AOE's that grow, as you can see, on 3 random people. It can be, the main tank, off tank, any of the healers, and of course the DPS. Basically, what you want to do is you want to place those as far away from the group as possible. And the reason why is because they stay on hard mode, they stay the entire rest of the fight. On non-hard mode, they will disappear after a while. So that's pretty much it on this video. I hope this video helped you guys out in some way, shape, or form. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching. Again, on Sundays and Mondays, usually around 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and around 6 p.m. California time. We do these progressions live, and I usually stream them. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys are more than welcome to come by and say, "Hey, man, seen your YouTube video. You're a badass, and I love your face." But my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/JDUB, which is JDub. Again, thanks for watching and tuning in. Hopefully, you guys have a fantastic day, week, or weekend whenever I decide to upload this. Other than that, take care, and hopefully, we'll see you in the next video.